One of the things that you're going to want to get familiar with is the Linux terminal. And we're going to go through a very short tutorial now to show some basic commands. Now, if you've used the terminal before, this is probably old news to you, and you probably are very good at using the terminal already. But if it's new to you, it's very frustrating to get started. And there are a few commands that you're just going to want to use all the time. And maybe make a note of these and leave them by your computer or on tape to your laptop or something. What we're going to do is start on the home page here and go to the schedule. I'm just going to share my screen so you can see it. And we'll see this column of tutorials. We're just going to click on the ones for week 2. There are 6 little individual bytes of information here. And I mean BITES. We're going to go through the command line one first. Now, some weeks there will be videos for some of these, and some weeks there may not be. It's your responsibility to take a look at what's inside. They're just meant to be helpful. You're not tested in any way on the actual contents here. So if we look at the Linux command line, what we're using when we use the sandbox and all of the assessment turn-in links is we're using an operating system that's based on Linux. Okay, you might have heard of that. Some of you will definitely have used it before. If you don't know anything about it, or you don't know very much about it, the history of it is very interesting. Linus Torvald invented this. This is a guy that laid down the foundation of a lot of modern tools we use every day, including Git, which he also invented. One of the versions of Linux is Ubuntu. This is a Swahili word that means sharing and freedom. It means just a feeling of community. Really, it's hard to express in English. Linux is open source, and there are many, many versions of Linux, Ubuntu being a popular one, that a lot of the internet runs on. Ubuntu is a popular choice. It's free, it's open source, it just works. A lot of Linux distributions, including Ubuntu, do have a graphical user interface, but we won't be able to access that in the GitHub code spaces. The only graphical user interface we have is the one that we look at in the IDE. And we can do some point-and-click operations there, but what you'll see is that if you start using the terminal, it will become addictive, and you'll look at them. We're just going to look at a few of the keyboard commands for this. To do this, I'm going to go to the sandbox. I've already got it open. And I'm just going to close these. And just like normal, your interface should look just like this when you go to the sandbox every time. This is the default. It opens up a README for a little instructions about what you can do in it. Now, by default, the terminal window should open. If it, for some reason, doesn't, you can go to the hamburger menu up here in the upper left and go down to Terminal and click New Terminal. Okay, but we've already got one open here. We know it's a Linux terminal because we have the little cache symbol. We don't have any text telling us what directory we're in, but we'll come to that in a moment. And the first command we're going to look at is ls, which just means list the folders and files that are in that particular directory. When we do that, we see 4 folder names. There are these 4 folders over here. File names, that is. And we have 2 folders up in our environment. But notice how they each have the period symbol at the beginning of their name, and that indicates that they really aren't to be tampered with, and that they're hidden. We can see them in the IDE, but we can't see them in the Linux terminal because they're hidden. So that's what's going on there. One of the things we'll commonly want to do is to make a directory, and we use the mkdir command for that. I'm just going to make a directory called test, mkdir, then the name of the directory. And sure enough, the test directory pops up, and that's really all we need to do for that command. We can change directory. So we change directory, and we provide the name of the directory we want to change to. And we can also use some shorthand, the dot dot symbol to move up one directory. So I'll just demonstrate that where if I do ls, it shows that we're in the root directory still, but now we can see that we have the test directory, and it's indicated with a color and the / at the end of the name. So we can cd into test like so. Now we get a little visual indicator that we're in test, and we can cd up again with the dot dot symbol. And now, we're back in the root directory. So let's go back into test. And there was another little tool down here that's mentioned, the PWD. We can ask what our present working directory is, and it'll give us the whole path. So in this case, the virtual server is running in workspaces and in our repository, sandbox-we Harris, the name of my GitHub account, and we've made the directory test. So the PWD, sometimes if you have a lot of directories and you're navigating around, it's convenient to see where you are. Now we can copy files with the cp command, and we can copy directories if we add this little flag, this -r. There are lots of flags for lots of these commands. We're not going to go through a lot of them, but the -r one is worth learning if you want to copy whole directories. You probably will want to do that even in this intro course. The -r stands for recursive, and that tells your copy command to dive down and copy the directory and everything that's in the directory, including other directories and all the files in those other directories and so forth. So what we're going to do for our copy is we're just going to make a file. I'm going to make a new file in the test folder. I'm going to call this test1.txt. By default, it opens up in the tab. I'm not sure I'm crazy about that, but it's convenient sometimes. We don't need it open for this. What we're going to do is copy test1.txt to test2.txt. And we see a new file pop up. There's nothing in it. I'm not going to demonstrate the -r, but you can do that yourself. We can also remove files. If you just say rm for remove and the file name, you'll get a confirmation text that at the command line prompts you for a yes or no. Do you really want to do that? There's no coming back. There's no undo on the terminal, so you have to be a bit careful. You can skip that confirmation for files by using the -f flag, and you can skip that confirmation for directories. No, I take that back. You can delete directories that has stuff in it with the .r, the recursive flag. Okay, and you can combine the flags. -rf is the really brave one, where you don't get a prompt and it just deletes the whole directory. So we're just going to practice that. We're going to remove test2. And, it asks us, are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And it goes away, sure enough. And then the last thing we're going to do is talk about moving a file. We move the source file to whatever destination we want it in, which is usually a directory. So in this case, we're going to move test1 out to the root directory. And I'm going to use that little shorthand .. to indicate I want to move it up to a directory. And sure enough, it moves it. I'm going to remove the folder test. Now, it's not letting me move it because I've made a little typo. This is a good demonstration of why can't it let me remove test. It's because I'm asking it to remove test when my current working directory is in test. So actually, to do this, I need to change directory, go up, and then rm test. but I do want to remove that. And I think then I just need to use the R flag. Heck yeah, I want to remove it. It's giving me lots of trouble. There we go. So even an empty directory does require the -R. I had forgotten that myself. A little rusty with using the terminal. And now just finally we're going to remove that test1.txt. And if we want to remove it without a prompt, we can add the flag -F. And sure enough, it's gone. And there are lots of other commands. We've just barely touched the surface here, and it is possible to write little scripts to automate things on the command line. It's really fun once you get started, and it's very useful. And that's all I have to say about that.